has been Ron Bacon. Well, welcome to the show. We're coming live to you every Friday with the Family Matters online program that talks about how to treat the people in the lives of people who have addictions, whether it's alcohol or drugs or a lot of addictions. But for the most part, those are the two big winners. Substance abuse disorder, right? SUD. I learned that a few weeks ago.
Yes.
So coming from out west in California, this is a nationwide problem. Of course, it's I just saw a thing the other day. Trying to remember what it was about. It was a guy who on YouTube, and he travels and just shows different communities. And he was in West Virginia, and this they're ravaged still with the opioids and everything. So
it's really it's kind of running through smaller communities, rural areas, and it really takes a toll on services, particularly in those areas that are already strained.
Yes, exactly right. Because it's just
you think about everyone who's struggling with an addiction. There's 10, 20 people who care about them.
Oh, right. The pawn ripple effect, right?
Exactly. Who are afraid for them and lying awake at night wondering where they are and if they're okay.
Well, I think it compounds the issue in the poorer neighborhoods and communities like the places in West Virginia, because they don't have the clinics, they don't have the clinicians, or the the therapists that are local. So if somebody did want to try to get off, they started because they hurt their back in a coal mine. They know they have a problem. They want to start weaning themselves off, get some therapy, and it's just tough. But as part of the Family Matters online program, which takes you through two steps, is for the family members of the people who have with substance abuse disorder. However, if somebody was, let's say, had a moderate problem and they wanted to talk to somebody, would you be able to talk to them too? And you have online aspects or components that you can work with too, don't you?
Right. Yeah, at any stage in the development of the disease. And we say alcoholism, often that's just a generic term for any addiction. So you just substitute it, whatever's in, but that you can begin at any stage. You don't have to wait till somebody has hit bottom. That's often when they will seek help. A person will hit bottom, whatever that is. That within the 12-step community, you'll hear people talk about a high bottom or a low bottom. Low bottom is near death.
So they don't
lost your job, your dog died. I mean, everything is gone. And the higher bottom means, recognizing there's a problem sooner. A person could argue, I don't even have this problem. I still have my job. I still have my spouse. I still have, various things. I still have my reputation.
Yeah.
So, it's rare though, because this is a cunning and baffling disease. It lies, and people, our brains, we keep thinking we have control when we don't.
Well,
that's interesting. Peter A. from North Carolina, at Apex, North Carolina, the peak of good living, as a matter of fact, has a saying that if you find yourself in the bottom of a hole, the first thing you should do is stop digging, right? So
and
you may have be on some substance like the legally prescribed substance, but by now that's playing with fire. And so if you start having some signs, so let's talk about the fast track, and how that does kind of let you know what some signs are, if not for yourself, but for a family member who might be going down that path.
Yeah, if you're concerned already as a family member, there's something up, and you can't rely on your loved one to confirm. By saying, I think you have a problem. I mean, I have never heard of anybody that said, you're right, I think I do too. Usually they deny, minimize. So I always tell family members, if you have an intuition about it, you're not making things up, you need to go with that and not try to argue them into, agreeing with you, right? So then what do you do? And that's what the Family Matters program is about. If you're not sure, do the fast track, and that'll help you figure out. But let me just say, even if, because in substance use treatment, there are problem drinkers, and then there's the people with the full-on disease, and they can look the same. Okay, a problem drinker is having problems because of their drinking, but at some point they just say, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to drink anymore, and then they are.
And they probably say that a lot.
Well, and now an alcoholic will say that a lot, but they never can be done.
Well, I mean, I think I was a problem drinker. I mean, I got to the point where, I don't sleep. Everyone knows that knows me. I don't sleep much. I sleep 3 hours a night on average. Although this week I slept 4 out of 5 nights, I think 5 hours, which was a very good week.
Right.
But when I drank to excess when I drank. So if I had 2, I'd have 13. Yeah. It wasn't all the time, but it was whenever I did drink. But then I became maybe, instead of being a happy drunk, maybe more of a mean drunk, especially with my wife. And then you don't remember, right? And so you hear the stories. But then I realized when I was just going out for 2 or 3 drinks for dinner with my wife, I didn't remember. And I was like, wow. And so because I don't sleep so much, the alcohol, when it stops recording your mind because of the alcohol, it started getting so low. I just said, listen, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop for a while. It's been since December. But because I don't have, for me, a problem, like an alcoholic problem, but I am a problem drinker. That's a problem. When you start to be a jerk to your wife when you drink, out of no reason, because you don't want the fun to stop, right? Or when you don't remember, that's a problem.
That's huge.
And so
because that's a blackout, and a blackout is a brain injury, and so, really. So that's it's a good point you bring up, Jeremy, because people think of blackouts as somebody who's passed out, but they're wide awake, operating. Yeah,
I did it a lot. I mean, in my life, I did it a lot because I'm an excess drinker, but I don't drink excessively throughout the week, but maybe twice a month or whatever it is. Oh, yeah. But I do everything in excess, right? I mean,
well, and that that fits what the substance use disorder person, they certainly do that. It's just that when they start recognizing there's a problem and they say, I'm going to quit, and it's like, how come I can't quit? And they can feel so stupid, and the shame and guilt is gigantic, and they'll drink just to deal with those feelings. It doesn't excuse that. They're responsible for their behaviors, but there's something going on that is distinctly different. And I don't know that I can fully understand it. I can see it. I observe it.
I think what is his name? Mr. Burns from The Simpsons said about pornography. I don't, or not pornography. That was the Supreme Court justice. But the same thing about art. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, there you go.
And Burns, he's looking at a painting. I don't hate it. Right? I know I don't hate it. I can't tell you that I like it, but I don't hate it. Just there's that feeling, right? So you just know.
It's for family members in either one. If you kind of think, okay, so what? They're a problem drinker or they're an alcoholic. Either one is a problem, right?
Yes.
For the family member. And we want to help people figure out, because your first instinct is to say, okay, I'm going to confront this person. They have a problem. They're being a jerk when they drink or whatever. And let's say the person says, hey, it's not that big a deal. I hardly ever do it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then what are you going to do?
Right.
And the brain goes to, let's say it's your spouse. And the brain immediately goes to, okay, get a divorce. Well, okay, I always tell people, there's a lot in between that, okay? You don't need to go to the nuclear option. Let's look at some other things you can do that are going to help take care of you without you trying to convince the other one they have a problem, which is very hard because we just want to do that.
Right. Yeah. And then the other partner, it's not fair for me to tell Christy, don't drink anymore. So we don't do that. So we go out. She still drinks. She didn't have the problem.
Yeah.
In our relationship, I'm pretty much a fun person. I can have fun, and I'm very personable in places and social situations. I don't need to drink to have fun. But I think in a lot of people's cases, that's their way to get social, be comfortable in a social setting.
Lowers your inhibitions.
Yeah.
And so if you're a little bit more anxious and you get a little more relaxed, you're able to be more authentic with people, and that's why
Yeah.
people like to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You know,
And I do miss it when I smoke a cigar once a month, but I've learned the last 2 times I smoked cigars to have a whiskey glass and put maybe half a shot in it with some ice, and then just taste it with my cigar. So I'm not drinking, but I still get the
right.
sensation of holding the glass, tasting it, and smoking without drinking. And so when that's
Yeah.
gone, it's gone. It's a half an ounce over 3 hours. So I mean, I literally did feel a little bit wanky though. It was actually fun
Yeah.
having that. Wow, I said I'm not drunk, but almost like when I was a
Right, because
teenager
your
and I tried it
tolerance
behind the
went up,
house for the
yeah.
first time. You know,
Right,
yes.
right, right.
So, but you know, again, does it show me that I can have a half of ounce of scotch for a
Mhm.
night talking to someone? Yes. So that's the
Right,
control. But
exactly.
if I couldn't, if that led to 13, like it
Right.
used to, then wow, then now we're
Yeah.
going back to the drawing board and going, maybe I need to see somebody. But so far,
Yeah,
that's not been the case. But
that's actually following the big book. They say if you're not sure if you're alcoholic or not, have a drink. Stop abruptly.
yeah,
Do it more than once.
yeah,
Okay, you did it.
yes,
Right.
And they said, our hats are off to you.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, you
uh,
don't have a disease, which, you know, people with a disease, it's kind of like diabetes. You know, let's say somebody's like type 2 diabetes. A lot of people can get rid of type 2 diabetes by losing weight. If you have type 1 diabetes, it doesn't matter what
oh
you do.
yeah, right,
Okay,
right.
your pancreas is not going to kick in. So
Got it.
that's more like an alcoholic and a problem drinker. Not exactly, because we don't know what causes alcoholism.
No,
Um,
but the
but
theory
it's, yeah, it's,
crosses. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's why it's not fair to compare. You know, it would be like a type 2 diabetic going to type 1
Mm,
person saying, "Hey, I lost weight and I just got rid of it. You can do that."
you
It's
can
not
do it too.
correct.
Yeah,
Same with problem drinkers telling, you know, alcoholics they can just quit. They don't have the disease. So,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
but again, we kind of thought, okay, so you're the family member, you're seeing all this stuff, and as you noted, Jeremy, it affects your judgment part of your brain and your insight. I mean, we know this is a fact.
yeah.
And so if somebody's really in the throes of an addiction, they really can't see. It
Mm,
doesn't matter what you show them. You can show videos. You can, you know, whatever. Ron had a client, the spouse sent a picture of him passed out on the stairs with his butt basically hanging out of his, you know.
that was my Christmas card 2 years ago. Are you kidding me?
And she wanted him to see what he looked like when he was drunk. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And so
and he's
this
not going to
is really
stop.
want to help people get their focus off the person with the addiction, which is hard.
Yeah,
But it's otherwise the addiction's running your life, just like it's running the addicts.
and that's where the Family Matters program comes in because they
Right.
can now the wife or the husband of the alcoholic or the family member, the loved one, can now come in and really just say there are some things that I can control when this is
Right.
happening, right? And
Yeah.
thanks,
It's
Alex,
kind of
for
freeing
chiming in.
yourself.
Nice to see you.
It's kind of freeing yourself from feeling handcuffed to
Right.
your partner without saying, okay, this is it, I'm leaving. That may happen, I don't know, but there's many steps in between that to help you figure out, how do I step back from letting addiction run my life the way it runs my partner's life.
That's right. So familymattersprogram.com, they'll get the online courses. There's the fast track, which we were just talking about, the step-by-step. We'll share that another time. There's the bundle package. You can get both of those for a dramatic decrease in price.
Yeah.
But there's lifetime membership. There's 100%
Mhm.
money back guarantee if you don't like it, probably after maybe 30 days or something.
Right.
And there's a community that we're building around it, like this video, the show that we're doing each week on Fridays at 2:30, where we're going
Mhm.
to encourage people like Alex, who just kind of gave us a wave, but people, we're going to start having a phone
Mhm.
number come up. We want people to call in and bring up
Right.
specifics, and then so we can help them every week. No, Family Matter Fridays, 2:30 Eastern. We didn't even talk about the Narcan. We're running out of time here, but why don't you tell us about this Narcan news that just came out, because that's really interesting.
It is. So Narcan was approved for over the counter, which is Narcan, for those who don't know, is a nasal spray that you can administer to somebody who's passed out from an overdose, it'll immediately kick them into withdrawal because it blocks the opiate receptors, and so it saves lives.
So that opiate receptor that was not being affected, but they were while they were on the drug, but that at the time was actually telling their body, overriding the other functions of the brain, and they're actually stop breathing, go cardiac arrest, blood circulation stops. And so when you see that, the Narcan stops the receptor from activating or bonding, I guess, with the opioid, but that then the rest of the brain says, okay, start doing your jobs again. We're back on the clock. That's amazing. And I've seen it happen a few times on some videos of police officers just opening a bag and just having the, you know,
oh my gosh,
eremescence, right?
Yeah.
And then they just pass out. Luckily, the other police officers had, and twice they did it to one officer I saw, but it's extremely frightening. So we can now buy it over the counter, have it with us if you're in a neighborhood that you probably, like I said, like in West Virginia. Now I'm not singling out West Virginia. So
no, but they're really struggling.
They've singled themselves out. I mean, they know that there's a problem, and they've been screaming and hollering, trying to get some attention.
Some help. Yeah. Well, hopefully Family Matters program. I tell you what, if you're from West Virginia, why don't we give you a discount, right? Hit me up on LinkedIn. We'll come up with a discount code. We'll give you, 20% off or something. I mean, it's already ridiculously low. I keep telling you, we were working together. I keep telling you, you're charging too less money. I can't charge more. They won't let me raise the price.
We're trying to get it out to everybody.
You are. So if you got a mailing address with West Virginia, reach out to us on LinkedIn. Any one of us are on LinkedIn. The Bacons, but you may not find them. Tourist, there's only one of me pretty much on LinkedIn. We'll give you a 25% off. So we just want to get this in your hands, these videos and the courses. Once you buy one, it's good for your whole family. So you got a family of 4, it's less than $400. That's $100 a person. It's for life. Everyone in the family could watch it, can use the workbooks, can reach out to us, and we will try to change lives one person at a time. So
exactly.
All right. And we will see everybody again, same bat time, same bat channel next week, right?
Marvelous.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Melody and Ron, the Bacons. We love you guys. FamilyMattersProgram.com. Check it out, and we will see you all next week. You know how to get in touch with us before then, though.
Yes.